Hello boys, babes, and all of you beings in between. What is up, and welcome back to yet another episode of All the Blocks. This time we have a very lovely palette provided to us by a lovely friend Yvengos. Before I reveal that, let's go ahead and explain the rules once again. These are arbitrary rules I have established for myself, and they may be bent as I see fit. However, the rules are, I am given 3 to 5 blocks, one of which must be craftable into a stairs or slabs of that variant. Rule 2, explaining the variant. If I am given stone, I can use stone stairs and slabs, but if I am given stone, I may not use stone, brick, etc. And so that is our primary rules regarding all of this. Now, Yvengos has given us a lovely color palette before and has given us quite a few good suggestions with blocks. I appreciate his input. Very good input. Now, this time he gave us a very lovely collection of stone brick, deep slate tiles, tough, and blue terracotta. Now, in comparison to his last collection he gave us, this is a much more standard palette I've seen used in other places. I'm quite excited to try and go with it, as this is probably the most normal palette I have received in this series within my actual standard rules of what I'm supposed to be using. So I'm very excited to play with this. But we decided when planning this out how I was going to address this was I wanted to build something not quite steampunk, but not quite fantasy. And so there's a lovely little subgenre of art that I keep stumbling into called mage punk. And I have been loving that style and that specific take on it. And I've done another build previously that kind of fit into that category, but the palette was much more disjointed. So it felt like I believe a good word is distorted or discordant design. And I find it very cool and astonishing in this build style, but I really did enjoy that one in particular. Now, when redoing this, I feel like this specific palette provides for a much more... A wizard has taken this home and taken the architecture to a strange and odd location in its term of shapes and curvature. Now, when designing curvature, that is one of those things I often stumble upon, where it is quite easy to end up struggling or overcomplicating a vast majority of what you're working with. And you end up trying to use all of these stairs and these slabs to shape down format and create a much more intricate shape than is necessary to adequately provide the shape. Overcomplicating your curvatures in a block-based game can definitely drown out any initial design interest, initial ways of trying to do this that would otherwise have been fairly simple if had not been overcomplicated. Now, when I say this, I'm saying not everything needs stairs and slabs to make it look like a good smooth curvature. And so that's what I did here, was I tried my best to... Everything I did in this was to minimize how much I used stairs and slabs, not because I didn't have a good option variety to it. I had so many stairs and slabs available to me via this palette. And I did use them. I didn't completely discredit them and not use them at all, but I did choose to minimize how much of them I was using because the shape just looked better as a simple block line. Now, when designing this, I was definitely in the mindset of a previous build we'd had. Someone had given me magenta terracotta, and when they use the palette they'd given me, they often use it as the roof. They use pink terracotta as their roof, and I was like, that's interesting, because I ended up using the nether brick for that. So this time I was like, let's take advantage of this blue terracotta and give this the most odd and vibrant roof I have personally seen. I think it's fun. I think I'm going to definitely have to use this more often, because using a bright and colorful roof as opposed to the building itself being bright and colorful has been a very fun switch up for me. I had not considered it in a while to try and do this, so I'm definitely enjoying the way this looks. Now, when you search around here, you can see where I'm playing with these curves. I definitely did take advantage of stairs and slabs on these front-facing curves, but this bigger curve you're going to see grow out of this roof is definitely going to appear much more simple in the way it's shaped, but because of its size, it makes so much more sense to allow for it to just be this singular block without the extra stairs and slabs. That just looks better. But I had a profound amount of fun designing this because I did not know where I was going to go with it at first, but then I find this beautiful swoop and I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is how we're going to treat it, and it's going to be magical. What a beast this thing is. I can fully say that in the process of building this, it was a lot of me standing or floating back at this distance looking at it, but even more so now that it's done, looking up at it from the ground gives it a whole new perspective on how it looks and how it feels. I am not sure what my plan for the windows and the doors is, but I do like it. I do like fully acknowledge some of these spots are a little odd in the way that they connect, and some of these spots do need some like touch up to make it look a little better. Like, I specifically did not look at the back as much as I probably should have, and like looking here, this should probably be swapped out for tough just to give it that matching framing look that the other side has. But I do keep laughing at it as I keep looking at all the little eyeballs on it. It looks like, not eyeballs, the windows look like eyeballs. I keep seeing faces, which I think is good fun, but it is a little silly sometimes. But one of the big things we need to do is I spent a lot of time terraforming. If you paid attention to that time lapse, there is so much terraforming that went into getting this area in a space that it could be buildable. This was and still is the literal top of a mountain. Like, we are up here on this lovely mountain because it just felt right that this would be up high. Like, stopping and looking at this from down here is super interesting. I have a mod running that lets me view larger render distances, but I don't know why it's currently trying to update things, as it is currently off. I will need to look into that. But I did throw some more saplings back in here because I feel like re-surrounding it with trees is ideal for this, and I think it will make the space feel better since I did clear out so many trees anyway. Whoop. And I don't really want to do a ton of gardening with this. There's a little bit of me that wishes I had taken the time to go ahead and pre-design a bunch of custom trees, because it would be cool to have like a couple spruces that look like they got bent and swirled out of shape. But I'm not sure I have the time to get that done to get this video out when I want it out. So we're going to do a little bit of terraforming cleanup, add a little bit of things. I think we'll do some basic paths to get this acquainted with its environment in a way that feels right and looks good with it. And then we will see what we can do. I'm not going to do anything to affect the build itself, as much as I would love to play with the windows and the doors. I think I'm going to leave that as is without, and let that be you guys' ideas. That feeds how those will be adjusted and made to make more sense for its space. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make ourselves a lovely path that leads down into this lovely birch forest that it sits above and observes. So let's see what I can do. Alrighty, I have done some tidying, I've done some things. I have put glow light on the roof, so everything is technically, whoop, wrong button. Everything is technically spawn-proofed in the area. Here's what we have done with this space. For one, I came over here and added this little bitty, like, swirled garden that feels like it's for some sort of enchanting purposes. You follow the path and suddenly you can do magic or something. I don't know. We could definitely play with it more, but I like the idea of it being a summoning swirl instead of a summoning circle. We did come through, and underneath all of these bushes are little hidden lighting areas so that everything is well lit. So if I just do a time set night, it has this lovely glow to it that makes it feel like an ambiance. Gotta love it. I tossed in some firefly bushes for that lovely little floating light effect that I think just makes everything feel a little more lovely. Mind you, the whole house isn't like easily traversable around itself, but I do think it does provide a nice space of just gentle flow and ebb that is quite whimsical. I do think we should toss a couple of living firefly bushes above the ground just to break up some of this area. The spruce forests never really have a lot of excess overgrowth to them. Hello, fox. Ooh, berry bushes. I didn't think about that, but I think that could be nice. I don't have any bone meal in my pocket, but tossing in some berry bushes would be cute. I didn't think about that. Thank you, Fox, for reminding me, and you get a snack out of it. But I think, yeah, that adds a fun burst of color and makes the area a little bit more alive, I guess. But I do think that the lighting on the roof makes it feel a little bit whimsical in itself without being excessive. It looks like it's been weathered, like the world around it has existed in its own right without being truly disturbed. But it is loved and the area around it is maintained, while not being brought to an obscene sort of perfection. And I think that in itself creates a very lovely an environment that just feels like it belongs. There is something to letting an area be mildly, not neglected, but lived. Something that has like a small dent or a scuff. Not all walls should be perfectly white. Some should have a little mark of life. But I think the berry bushes definitely add that little extra bit of color that I was looking for, without putting flowers in, because I for a moment thought maybe add some poppies, maybe add some dandelions, make them fill in the space. But no, I think the berry bushes do the trick. But I do absolutely love how this came out. I did go ahead and put glow lichen in here so you had a little bit of glow from the windows, even though there's nothing in them yet. But I would love to know, what kind of glass would you put in here? Or would you not put glass in and instead come in and put like trap doors or fences or copper grates to make them still be windows but not be your traditional glass? You having fun there, Mr. Fox? I'm glad you're enjoying these. But what would you do with those things in particular? And if you would put a door here, would you do spruce, dark oak, birch? I don't know. What do y'all think? But on that note, if you have hung out with us for this long, I really do appreciate it. And if you have not already liked the video, please do so. Additionally, if you are not subscribed, that would be great. Now, do me a favor, and I will see you all next time. Take care, drink some water, and go on and build something for fun. Goodbye now.